being able to express yourself without the constraint of trying to sound like anybody is one of like the greatest achievements for myself. I don't really care much about people, to be honest.
Exactly.
I feel like your relationship with God is personal because I feel like everybody has a gift. Like you said, like, God has given everybody a talent in one way or the other. And it is your responsibility to find your niche within it. I think when you say like music is life, I think it answers that already too. You gotta know like, okay, whatever I'm choosing, I'm going to make money out of it. Because you're not choosing a career just to do it for the art alone. You're going to eat at some point. Like the mind, perspective is always important.
Exactly.
You have to have like a good mentality to even live your dreams, whatever your dreams are. Just having the right mind on how you want to go about it. And I think,
Hey everyone, and you're welcome back to another episode of the show Unshelved Dreams. My name is Renny Oyemi, and I am excited to be talking to you guys today. And I have an amazing guest in the studio. He is an amazing musician, and his name is Oluwatomi Oluwadare, also known as Tomi Drey. He is a musician, a Nigerian-American recording artist based in Maryland, USA. He loves making original music and enjoys experimenting with different sounds. And obviously, if you listen to his songs, there's a feeling to it. There's something you get when you listen to his songs. Tomi Drey's love for music started when he was a kid in Ibadan, Nigeria, and he began his musical journey as a bass player in his church, and later toured and played for big Afrobeat artists like Davido, Fireboy DML, and Olamide. And Tomi Drey's music is very unique because he is able to mix different sounds together and creating special music that his audience and people can connect to. Of course, I'm one of your audience, and I am so happy to have you on the show today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
A little backstory here. I didn't know I was going to do a podcast, but when I saw Tomi performing, when I saw the things he was doing, and I listened to one of his songs at some point, I'm like, I'm going to do a podcast someday, but you got to be on the show.
Yeah, I remember the conversation.
I didn't even know I was going to do this then. And, when we're ready to do it, I'm like, Tomi, we're ready now. Are you ready for it? They're like, oh, yeah, let's do it. And I am so happy that he is here today, I'll be having this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
So,
thank you.
Before we go into the story, right, I want to say this, and I say genuinely. You know how I feel when I listen to your songs? Do you want to know?
Yeah, please.
When I listen to your songs, it feels like, I'm giving myself a big, tight hug. Honestly, that is really how I feel, because it is just so soothing. Mm-hmm. Even I made a post yesterday. Yeah. It was really about you. I don't know if you saw it. And I put a part of your song. I'm like, researching my guests is something very interesting and that I really enjoy doing. And I was like, talent day, people day, right? And I put your song, a part in the song, Ojoro. I didn't tag you because I'm like, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag right now, but I'll put the song. It was such a good song, right?
Thank you.
How do you get to the point where you're like, this is the kind of music? How did you get to the point where this is the kind of songs I want to make? Because your songs, every song, even the ones we're supposed to dance to, right? It still has this part where it's still really soothing, you listen. It feels like, you're putting butter on your bread and you're just spreading it. That is how it makes me feel like I'm leaking ice cream, that kind of thing. Yeah. Honestly, and I say that genuinely, how did you get to that point where you're like, this is the kind of songs I want to make?
I think personally it's more of like the influences I've had, growing up. For me, like doing music was the most original thing I could do because, it's just a form of expression. And I like being original too. So like when I make music, I'm not thinking too much about it. I'm just kind of just expressing how I feel. Yeah. And I feel like everybody should do that. All musicians should do that, because that is how you get to create your own sound. You get to discover your own essence in music. So for me, it's just more of like my feeling, the way I feel about music. And I grew up listening to a lot of R&B, slow music. So even if I'm making like a fat song, I still kind of like always have like an emotional part where you can feel something in the music. So I think that's why you feel like the org and everything.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about the SM, like why, and is the consistency for me. It's
Yeah.
there. You listen to Ifere, you listen to Joro, you listen
Yeah.
to even that force. That force is a song telling people that I'm trying to love you, right? But
Yeah.
you're not answering me. But I'm not gonna force it.
Yeah.
It's a song to make you feel like hard guy, right? But you still feel that hard guy when you feel like, oh, but it's like I'm an uncertain hard guy in this situation.
Yeah.
So that is just really how I feel behind it. I know you just released your last there's a new album right now,
Called
yours
Ella.
truly.
Yeah.
No, sorry,
Ella.
I'm sorry. Called Ella. Right. So what was the inspiration behind Ella?
I think for me, I got to a space in my music where I wanted to get to another level, because dropping music project is a way to also like track yourself, your growth, and how you've come so far. And that is what I do with my productions and everything I do, just to see how how my story is actually even going in in talking about like the sound, the instrumentation, because I do everything else. I mix and master my music, so I'm able to track my growth with releasing music that way.
Yeah.
So Ella is more of like stating the story of like I'm not where I used to be. And the first track there is as of more of like my Oriki, and it's more of like something that would remind me of who I am, remind me of where I'm coming from, my roots. I'm an Ekiti man, so
Exactly.
some of the chants on there are from my native language from Ekiti. So I think Ella is just more of like telling you like you're not where you used to be, and just appreciate where you are also now. So that is kind of like the message I was kind of throw out.
Yeah, I have like 2 follow-up questions, but I'm gonna go with this. So you said about you mix, you
Master.
you mix and master.
Yeah.
Are those like different careers in the music industry?
That is like the engineering part of music. Like when you make music, you wanna make it sound better. So instead of okay, like for example, this podcast, when we're done recording it, you're gonna have somebody engineer it for you, make it sound the proper way. Is going to sound like radio ready and all that. So that is the engineering part of the music that I do. So and I think that is also like one of the challenging part of like being the person that does everything about the music itself. So
Yeah.
and
So
it's also self-taught.
Oh, because
So
I
I
was
never-
going to ask, like, is this something that you go to school for? Like, I want to learn how to master a song or
Yeah,
master an audio.
Well, YouTube college, but
All of us go to YouTube college, right?
But yeah, I mean, most of everything I do is and that's why I feel like I was probably like born to do this, because like I do everything. The writing,
Exactly.
the singing, the
Yeah.
production, the making of the music itself. So I think like that is the most interesting part about my own story and my journey with music.
Yeah, that's good. And I like that you say that, because I think about it sometimes, how I know you're a Christian, how people say that God puts things in you. It's now that I'm like in my 30s that I'm kind of like understanding that for real.
Yeah.
Because something that comes naturally is I cannot sing to save my life.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
I
It
feel
doesn't come to me, but okay, put me in a place. Let me talk. I'm going to have the conversation. You may not follow, but I'm going to have it like, I'll just keep talking. There's always something to say for me. Right. So how do you when you discover that, you singing was put in you something you like, is it that you just sat down one day and you just opened your mouth and the song started coming out?
So how it all started up for me, I didn't start off as singing. I didn't even know I was going to sing, to be honest. I started off as a bass player. So let me tell you my story about how I got into music.
Exactly.
Okay. So growing up in Ibadan, I would go to church, but I'll be the kid that you want to put in front of the instrumentalists just to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
And, being in the house also, I would play with microphones. I would take microphones that are spoilt in church, bring it home. And, I listened to a lot of Michael Jackson too growing up.
Oh, okay.
Hence the long hair. But,
He looks good.
thank you. But yeah, I think my parents, they're not into music, but they would listen to music. I listened to a lot of Ayefele growing up. I listened to a lot of Lagbaja.
Mix.
So I had Lucky Dube. So like the kind of music I was kind of exposed to at a very young age was a lot. So and I was also that kid that when you give a phone, I'm the first person that will go through your compos to kind of see the kind of music you had in it. So my love for music has always been there growing up. But it all started when my church had this program where you kind of like want to learn an instrument and you're welcome to come to the church. They had the specific dates. So getting there, I knew I wanted to play the guitar. You know, I knew like that was a thing for me. But when I got there, they had a lead guitar outside, which was not a bass. They had a bass outside, but I didn't know the difference at that time. So the other guitar was locked in the store. And when the music instructor came, like, oh, we have the bass guitar. Do you want to choose what instrument you want to try? Then long story short, I picked up the bass from there, and it was like the bass chose me because like I didn't even know like the bass was going to be what I was going to play. I just wanted to play guitar. And from there, secondary school, I wasn't that decent on it, but I think I got better when I got to college, when I saw like boys that were actually like doing music proper. I had like a different exposure at that point. And my music journey started from there. I started playing in church regularly. And when I moved to the States, I wanted to record myself playing the bass. Then I slightly got into production that way, trying to make music around playing my bass. Then along the line, I started recording for people. People would come to my studio, sit down, you know. And I noticed I started writing for people too. Started giving them melody ideas. And, you know, I got to a point where, for example, I was writing for somebody and, you know, I feel like the person didn't appreciate the melody I was giving this person. I'm like, I can't do this thing myself. Like,
yes,
like,
what's going on?
You know? And I just started messing around in the studio, then making my own music, make my beats. Then, you know, one day I just sang on it and it felt good. I sent it to somebody and I didn't tell the person it was me. And the person was like, wait, who is this guy? I'm like, okay, fine. Okay, cool. Then, you know, from there I got more confident with it. You know, I started, you know, and I feel like once you start doing something consistently, there's a sort of comfort and confidence that comes with it. So I think I got to that level and, you know, it was just, and the thing about music is that you got to be confident with it. You know, you got to know like, okay, I'm doing this, and you got to stay original. I keep saying original because like it's important to me because I feel like everybody has a gift. Like you said, like, you know, God has given everybody a talent in one way or the other. And it is your responsibility to find your niche within it too. And I think like with me, you know, from the moment I knew it was music, I didn't look back, all in. You know, even though I have a degree in math, you know.
That is weird. Where's that one coming from? Maths? Not even fine arts or something?
Nah, math actually.
Mathematics.
Industrial mathematics. I have a bachelor's
1 plus 2 is cos 3. That
no,
one?
we're actually finding X for the most part. Finding X.
Did you find X at the end of the day?
No.
How about Y?
But I found my Y. I really found my Y.
Oh yeah, that.
And my Y is music. You know, it wasn't math actually. So
exactly. I mean.
Well, yeah. Studied math, but I knew like I wanted to do music. And, I'm still doing it. I don't think I'm
beautifully. You're doing it so good.
I appreciate that.
I love you. Like I love your songs. Right, they're very comforting, very soothing,
and you know, you telling me you the way you feel about me is still. Sometimes it feels unreal because like the compliments don't. It doesn't come easy to me. I don't take it like slightly. Is what I'm saying. Like it's always like, oh, somebody actually likes something I'm making. And you know, knowing that I just made it in a you know, even project that I think made in a small room or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because you're doing God's work. Because He told us to come to this earth and multiply and be fruitful. So that is what you're doing, basically.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's beautiful to see.
And I think it's always like a good feeling when you know your purpose in a way. You kind of know like this is what you're meant to be doing. I think for me, music has gotten to a stage where like sometimes when I'm doing it, it's more of like an out of body experience where like I don't need to think too much about it and just let it flow.
Let it flow.
Yeah, and you know,
that's good.
Yeah, I'm happy to be doing music. To be honest,
good. I'm glad.
I feel like it's probably one of the few things I might be a little bit good at. So
you don't have to be good at everything. Just find your one thing.
Yeah,
and do it with all your heart, your mind, your soul. Right.
Yeah.
find your one thing. That is just what I tell people at the end of the day. So you said something about writing songs for people. Does it mean that me with my voice and I don't think I can sing?
I mean,
with,
you know, like I feel like everybody can
Can
sing
I?
if you have a good engineer. If you
Everybody
have like
can
good
sing?
audio engineer, not everybody. You don't
I'm
think
going
so?
to book a studio time.
Oh yeah, no. You might come out sounding like, you know, like
You'd be like, bro, please sing.
no, I feel like everybody
Chill.
has like some sort of like music in them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In a way.
I think I'm going to try that. Maybe next year.
Sometimes, I mean, I've heard of people that don't like music in a certain way, and I'm always like, how don't you like music? How don't you listen to music? And
They don't like music. They don't listen to music.
I mean, okay, not like. I feel like not listen to music enough. You know, you ask them about music, they don't really know.
No,
you know, they just
anything.
have like certain people they listen to, and that is it.
No. Me, I feel music is life. I think because me, when I'm sad, sometimes it's music. Sometimes
Yeah.
when I'm very happy, it's music.
Yeah, that-
Do you get? So
yeah.
I mean, we may not all be the same. It's just like what we were saying. That like God puts different things
Yeah.
in different people.
Yeah.
Music comes to you naturally.
It-
Never.
yeah.
It has never come to me before. So let me just put it like that. So. Right, so you can literally write a song for anybody, and they can
I
just
mean,
start doing that. Is that what you're
So,
saying?
well, writing would also mean that you're also like creating melodies for them. It doesn't necessarily have to be like the lyrics itself. It could be like if you're in a studio with somebody, you give them like an idea of a melody that is also considered as writing. So, you know, I've done that. You know, sometimes lyrics too. You know,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's you know.
So we were talking about Ella the other time,
Yeah.
and that's a song. When I was listening to the song, the way the person was chanting you, right? If anybody should chant me like that, the only thing in this life that I won't be able to give that person is my future. Honestly, like literally, take all my money, take everything, and just go with it, because
Yeah.
the person was just really chanting, hailing you, and I'm like, did this person do this in your presence? Because I'd love to see a video of your
So-
reaction.
So yeah, the process was like, I've had the idea for a long time to use like my Oriki, because growing up living with my grandma, she's passed now. She used to be like a singer too, kind of.
Oh, okay.
Like she would give Oriki of people, and she sent me a voice note a very long time ago. And my production was not at that level where I could use it the way I wanted to use it. But I had the idea again. I wanted to do it. But sadly, she had passed this time. So, but I had another relative of mine from my mom's side that does stuff like that. So I just called my mom one day, like, can you help me get my Oriki properly?
Oh.
And she was like, okay. And luckily for me, she was traveling to Ekiti like the following week. And she got a voice note recorded. So a voice note was what I got.
Right.
And when I got to the studio, I kind of like chopped it.
You worked
kinda,
on
like,
it. You guys
engineered
need
it.
to listen to that song. Like, you know how when, let's say you're a Christian, you go to an event and they're worshiping God, and they're just giving all those serious Yoruba Oriki or more this or more that.
Yeah.
You know, your head will just be swelling. Like,
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah,
But
and I think that's-
I need to
think-
meet that woman because I'm from Akure as well. So maybe she can do something.
I think like
for me.
the major thing was like I said earlier, like the essence of the track is to always like, not even for me, it could remind you of who you are. Also, it could remind you of your roots. It could remind you of what you're called to do. So
Yeah.
I think like having that as even the first track on the project kind of like sets the tone for like the remainder
Yeah,
part of
it's
the
the
project.
first track,
So yeah, that is it's I think like it's one of like the sweetest music I've ever made. You know? Yeah, I think so because like.
You see?
Yeah, I
'Cause
think
it was a
I
song
feel it. I feel it. I feel that's why I think like
know-
that's one song that
I know you have a lot of beautiful songs, like I said earlier, like For Sound First. Yes, you guys need to listen to that song, honestly. Right, you have a lot of beautiful songs that I've listened to in your Just Truly album, and even the one before that. So when you complete like your music projects after everything is done in the studio and all that, and you listen, you get your first listen, how does it make you feel?
most of the times I feel not ready. I could be like a what's it called? What's the word? A perfectionist. Even when I feel like I'm done, I still want to always tweak everything because I do everything. I'm involved in the writing, the production, the writing, everything. So I feel like there's always something to tweak. And that's why like making projects sometimes takes time. Like this last project took me. Well, I wanted it to be fast because yours really took me over a year.
Okay.
and I had like the most songs I've ever done in that
In
period.
yours truly.
And Ella took me like 6-7 months. But when I get to the final process of like listening to everything again, I always feel like it's not ready. But you get to that and just put it out. And just let it go.
Yeah.
And it's always like because when you're doing projects like that, it takes most part of everything you're thinking
Of your
about.
brain, yeah.
I could be having a conversation with you, and my mind has gone somewhere else, thinking about a bass that I have to reduce in one song, and so it's always an amazing feeling to always put art out. I feel like it's always like it's always good to see like everything just come together, like the art cover. I'm always involved in everything, like the presentation of the project, the art cover, editing of the color, the everything. Yeah, I'm always
a perfectionist.
And it's not a good thing though, because like especially when you do everything yourself, it's not but it's an enjoyable process.
Yeah.
You learn from it also. So
And I think that is a kind of difference I'm seeing in the two of us.
Yeah.
When I wanted to do this podcast, I'd been planning, I want to do a podcast, I want to do this, right? I see on YouTube, they say, oh, go buy a camera and just mount it and just do this. And I am a person that I've always been used to working with a team. So moving to America, sorry, and having to do DIY, I'm like, DIY and me, we don't gel.
Yeah, I feel
So when I tend to do like too many things together and I'm handling this, even right now I have assistants in Nigeria working with me on this podcast.
Yeah.
I have my editors, I'm not going to sit down and edit anything. I won't do it. I will not do it. If I want it to go out there, then I won't be the only one. I need a team. If God told me myself by myself that Rennie, you're not like all those other people that can wing it. Me,
I feel like having a team is really, really
is really
important.
good. Right.
I think like having people that support you, they see the vision, and they also want to pick things up for you. I think that is important. I think like it's kind of fun doing everything yourself, but
you need
having
the
an helping hand
right?
is always essential too.
Yeah.
It helps the
helps
the process.
Yeah, exactly, and it makes it faster.
It makes it faster too.
Do
instead
you
of
see
spending
yourself all that time?
All that time, yeah, you working on
do
something, but yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like when you eventually get in a team together, you still always find something to tweak though.
I think that's where it comes down to like finding the right people. I think when you find the right people, you can trust them and just let go and just
I believe you.
Yeah, just let go. I still work with people now, and I feel like sometimes I tell them like, nah, you gotta, even if it's like the tiny detail, they'll be like, but nobody's noticing that. But the fact that I can see it, yeah, we're gonna change it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So the other time when you were answering the last question before the last question, you said something about confidence, right? And that is a conversation I like to have with people, because a lot of people, they just go about and say, "Oh, I'm not confident in that thing," and they don't do it, or they just drop it. Right.
Yeah.
So, and I see your videos, your content, and the things you put out there, and I say, I'm like, this person is a really confident person in what they do and all. So, where does the confidence come from? How do you build confidence? How do you?
God, one, supplier of all things. But I think, not but, plus, you don't have a choice. If you don't do it, who's going to do it for you? If you don't, if you really want to do something, if you don't summon the courage to do it, it's not coming from anywhere. Only if you pray to God and God gives it to you. But I feel like if you're creative, you have to, being confident about your art is so essential, because you might even drop sometimes, like, when I make music, it's not every product that comes out of an industry that is always good. You have like bad ones, you have good ones. So it also takes, a good mental state to also know that, okay, whatever you're putting out, you have to stand by it, come rain, come sunshine.
Exactly.
It sounds good to you. It sounds good to you, but doesn't sound good to others. Stay on your path that it does start. Yeah, because
exactly.
Music is, what sounds good to you might not sound good to me. But if I have the confidence that my stuff sounds good, yes, it does sound good. So you just got to summon the courage for it.
Believing in yourself.
Because if you don't believe in your art yourself, you don't expect anybody else to come and give you that courage or that confidence. So it has to come from within. pretty much.
And also doing that as well lets people around you know that you're serious and you mean business with what you're doing. And that is how they'll be able to believe you. Because what I hear is whatever you put out there is a reflection of what you have already inside of you. And that is what people are going to see and believe and go by.
Yeah.
So
my parents thought I was crazy when I said I wanted to do music.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
But they not crazy in the sense like, but they were always supportive. That's one thing. Like my parents were the kind of people that whatever you want to put your art into, as long as you know that you want to do it and you believe in it. Yeah, I think that also like, gave me that added confidence also to,
that you have that.
Yeah, having that backing kind of like,
right. So let's talk about the artist and the money, right? So, because I also come from a creative background, and music is also, in fact, the deeper part of creativity, because you don't know where the money is coming from sometimes, right? So, when you decided you want to do music, did you ever think about the money part, where the money is going to come from?
Yeah. And there's this general mentality, like when you do music, you're choosing like a struggle career and whatever the case may be. But I think perspective is everything. When you're getting into something, you got to know like, okay, whatever I'm choosing, I'm going to make money out of it. Because you're not choosing a career just to do it for the art alone. You're going to eat at some point.
Yeah.
And I think for me, one thing I really kind of invested on is myself. Trying to like do like different part in the music part too. Be it like the performance part of playing the bass guitar for different artists, the production part, making beats, and the engineering part, mixing and mastering for people. So and I'm sure like most people are not like that, but it's always good to find different pockets within that same industry where you can also like kind of get more income to come in. But like I said, the first thing is perspective and your mentality to know that if you're choosing art, you want to know that you're gonna make wealth out of it. That should be like the first belief. So,
but then you're gonna have some hungry days.
Oh yeah. You drink Gary on some days now. Normal.
So what I hear you saying is, because when you say investing in yourself, right, it means you're paying somebody to teach you something, or not necessarily paying somebody, but sometimes you gotta buy some equipment so you can practice some more.
Yeah.
So what I hear you say is, if you're gonna do music, do you need to find something on the side to give you some income while you're building? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like I said, perspective, and you gotta know, like, even though music is your major focus, it doesn't mean that you can take up like side gigs, side hustle. I'm also into tech.
Oh,
so
okay.
there are days that or some years that I'll just work for like a year or two and just and still put that money into my music or whatever the case may be. So it's all about your mind and how much you want it.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be a constraint on just knowing that it's music alone you want to do. No, there's always room for you to learn other things aside of that, just to even help your brain and your mental strength sometimes.
Exactly. That's true. That's why I like the fact that you keep touching on mindset, because personally I believe that everything you're going to do in your life or not do in your life, it starts from your mind.
The mind is important.
Whether you think you can do it or not, you're right.
Yeah.
So that's
the mind. The mind sometimes make things that you seem impossible possible. And it's all, like I said, perspective. You gotta like have the right mind and choose yourself to know that you want to really do what you want to do.
Exactly.
And get something out of it. So.
Yeah, and also go all in as well.
Yes.
When you can. I mean, go all in always. Anyway.
Yes, with God.
With God.
God is very important.
Absolutely. So what aspect of tech are you in? Business analysis?
Project management.
Project management. Okay. Yeah. That is good. So I believe project management has a kind of, that is why you do all those things.
I mean, I think maybe because of like the math problem solving background that I have. When you do math, you want to solve problems, right? Before you find X and find Y.
X and find Y.
So I think probably like that's where like my problem solving initiative came from.
Yeah. So that kind of like goes into every other thing that
every
you
other
do.
Thing, music,
so with project management, you're able to use it to manage everything together. You see, because I tell people most times, like, okay, fine, you want to be a musician, you want to be this person, you want to be that person, right?
Yeah, especially when you live in America, you got to pay bills. You feel me?
Exactly. So don't just get frustrated and be waiting for somebody to give you money to support your music or support what you want to do. My dear,
Yeah, you gotta
find something.
fight for yourself.
Exactly, because it doesn't mean you're letting go of the dream.
No.
It means you're just trying to support yourself into the dream, right? Basically.
That is totally right.
What?
That's totally true. Like
Yeah.
you gotta
Find ways
you gotta
to
be
go
open.
through.
You have to be open minded, to different opportunities to see how you can still, write your story
to
yourself.
pursue your
So,
dream.
yeah.
Yeah. So, with music, by the way, you've been doing it, you said for about 16 years now.
Yeah.
So, how has the experience been for you? What are some greatest things, like some beautiful achievements you feel you've been able to do through music? And how does all those things make you feel?
I think being able to express yourself without the constraint of trying to sound like anybody is one of like the greatest achievements for myself. Just being true to myself and being true to my purpose and what I want to make out of music. I think that is one of like just having that mindset of being free with your creativity.
Exactly.
I think that is one good achievement that I've, been able to, because it's not easy to even get to that spot.
That's good.
A lot of people are still struggling to sound like other people, and they're not even giving them true originality. So that is one part. Traveling, I've been able to travel with like some artists outside the country. It's always a wonderful experience to see different cultures and be on big stages. So I think that is one good thing I've been able to achieve, and just to believe in my dreams, just doing music and still focusing on music, and
Exactly.
and yeah, being able to drop the project I've dropped, doing everything myself is an achievement. But I think I'm getting to a stage where I want to build a bigger team.
Beautiful.
Because the more the dream, the bigger the dreams, the bigger the team got to be also. Yeah, the requirements, exactly. So, I think those are like, achievements, like I said, is still all about like how you see yourself too. You gotta like be able to appreciate your small goals, your small achievements, just to know that when you get to the biggest stage, you appreciate it better. So, the journey is still on. So.
Yeah. So I'm smiling. There's a reason why I'm smiling. A question just popped into my mind. Actually, it's like a question, in fact, is like something that I think about most of the time. And I know you spoke about God and how he's been very, how your relationship with God has been able to propel you forward in the things that you've been doing, and how that impacts. In fact, the fact that you even started playing from church, discovering your purpose from just by being a person who goes to church and serves in church, right? So I know you don't do gospel music, so to say,
I don't.
right? And you just do, what everybody calls secular music. Me personally, I'm a fan of like Afrobeats. I love anything Afrobeats, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes when I make a post and sometimes I post a Bible verse, because I also believe in God so much, because like I said in my last interview, I'm like, God is my source. Like I don't credit anything that I am and that I do to anything else other than God, because you said that I'm making you in my own image. So I always have that in my consciousness all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So now we go on social media. Right. You're a Christian, you post the Bible. Then maybe in your next post, you're posting something and you're putting maybe Ashake or Sheyi Vibes or all these other musicians or Davido. They're like, okay, she's a Christian and she's listening to secular music and this and that. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, I like what I like. You like what you like. And I also feel like these people, they're kind of like expressing their own
insecurities and stuff. Because that's what you're going to call it.
Exactly. So how do you merge that outlook about, okay, I'm a Christian, but I do this kind of music? How do you make that?
First of all, God-given talent. And I don't really care much about people, to be honest.
Exactly.
I feel like your relationship with God is personal. And if you're right with God in your mind, I think that's the first thing that has to come with it. And I think like there's also like a thin line. You have to make sure like you're not doing anything overboard that doesn't kind of represent you, that you are God's own. Like me, I like thinking about love songs, and
God is love.
God is love, and it's also entertainment, and like I said, you have to be right with your mind first. You know, you have to believe and know that you have a relationship with God, even regardless of nobody's perfect. You know,
Exactly.
we're all at some point. I know, like maybe when God really, really like wants to, you know, call me to the gospel, I would do it.
God really, really wants to.
And I believe I'm called already, to be honest.
Exactly. But you've not
you know,
gotten that leading to
yeah,
do worships.
yeah. But you know, I intend to.
Pastor is gonna watch this episode.
I believe he's going to have so much fun watching it. You know.
Yeah.
But
So when
like I said, it's still about, you know, your mindset and your perspective, how you see God, how you understand God. You know, you can't let people's orientation determine your own orientation.
Exactly.
You know, I see myself as an entertainer. I want to sing music that will let people feel good. And also I can still sing about God because it is my God, not your own, not only your own God.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's all about your mindset and, you know, just making sure like you respect that thin line between what is for God and what is not for God. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. And I like how you said there's always like a thin line, a boundary. You want to make sure that even when you're doing that music, you're not being vulgar or saying things that does not really.
It's like I said, you know, it's majorly about the mind, and you know, it's not like something I don't think about it, but you know, it's I'm an entertainer first.
Exactly.
You know? I'm also God's son, so
Exactly. Yeah.
And I feel like this talent is still God given at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So,
And you just
when I transition
it.
into when, you know, I do gospel, I'm fine. And if I don't, God still loves me.
Yeah, because you just want to be original, right?
Yeah. And
right.
like I said, the mind is everything. How you picture yourself, how you see yourself.
Yeah. So I see that you've really achieved a lot of amazing things, and I'm really happy for you. And I know that many great things are still coming your way because you're just a bright person.
Thank you
Right?
very
And
much.
I love the confidence that you actually exude, even when you're walking in your purpose and even doing life and not just, you know, you're just doing your thing, which is beautiful. A lot of people don't have that. Right, a lot of people don't have that, and I feel I hope and pray that they're able to get to that point where they're like they discover their purpose and they're living in it and they're happy and excited. Right. However, you remind me of somebody, right, that I really listen to all the time. In fact, I still listen to him this morning, and this is a very accomplished person, right? Even from what I hear him say, apparently in this America, he makes $3 million a month, if not more than that.
Yeah.
Right now, why are you squeezing your face?
I'm trying to know what you're talking about.
Right. So I remember when he tells the story all the time that growing up, he was born during the segregation period, you know, the black hospitals and the white hospitals. And then they didn't really have good health care, and he happened to have polio.
Okay.
And he grew up with that, and he had other siblings who like are also boys, and he felt really bad because he felt like he was being slowed down in a lot of other areas in his life. So he couldn't do a lot of things, and he felt bad for a very, very, very long time.
Okay.
Right. So, however, over time, it changed the story, the perspective. I was like, oh, this is God actually slowing me down so that I can actually serve him in the way he has called me to serve him. And now he's doing it, and he's doing it beautifully. He runs a coaching program. He does a lot of amazing things. Okay. And he has a lot of students who pays. He has coaching programs as high as $45,000 a month and even $1 million. People pay him that, and it's crazy. It's not bragging or anything like that.
I'll like to meet him.
Right, he's an amazing. I'll share the name with you after. Right, he's one of the people that I really listen to all the time, and I say all this to ask you this question: like, even in your quest for your dreams, as you're achieving all those things, do you ever feel like there is something missing?
Missing? I don't think so. I think first of all, just appreciating where you are in your journey so far kind of gives you that rest of mind. But you know. I've heard things like, you know, if your dreams don't scare you enough, you know, you probably go back and sleep again. So, you know, whatever is missing is unknown, right? You just got to keep living the journey and keep living your dreams. And eventually, you know, you would find what you're looking for.
Exactly.
So, you know, the missing part would always be found at some point.
Yeah.
So, that's for me. I don't think anything is missing, even with, you know, my disability or whatever the case may be. I think I'm doing well with myself.
Exactly.
And I think like and I've said this a long time. I've said this enough times. Sorry, like the mind perspective is always important.
Exactly.
You have to have like a good mentality to even leave your dreams, whatever your dreams are. Just having the right mind on how you want to go about it, and I think you would achieve anything and find what is missing along the line.
Exactly, nothing missing, nothing broken. Because a lot of people, they're always looking for resources when even with the little that they have, they're not even being resourceful enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes what people need is just that level of resourcefulness and not just looking for more and more things, always feeling like something is missing. And that is why a lot of people now, some people are depressed. Some people, it might be really medical, right? But some people, it's just because they're not focusing on what they really do have. And that is something that I really appreciate about you. And, even some of your videos, you guys, I don't know if we're at liberty to actually post some things. I saw a video where you posted, let's say, shako. When I saw that video, I was like, this is beautiful. This is what I'm talking about. Like, there's a lot of people, they see, certain things happen to them and they just wear that as a badge of honor that, I'm going through this. Yeah. And that is why my life is hard. But my baby girl, people are going through worse. I mean, that is not to console anybody, but I just say this to say that nothing is ever missing. Wherever you are is where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Shout out to God because major thing, but also like just for me, I just felt like I didn't have a choice. I don't sit down and just let life just pass by. Then, I felt like I needed to write my story myself, and hence why I will continue to strive for the things I want and how the life I want to live. One thing I don't really associate with myself is the pity feeling. I don't sit down and feel sorry for myself. Some days are tough, but the major thing is just getting up and knowing that you have a life to live, and for anybody feeling bad about anything, it could be worse. But having the right mind and the perspective. I think I've said that like 500 times. So I'm sorry.
Which is okay.
The perspective and the mind is very important to Tomi Drey.
Yeah.
So, it's all about having the right mind.
How you see yourself.
Knowing God. Know God is very important.
Exactly. Know God before and every other thing will be added, right? Exactly. Know God and really, truly have a relationship and serve God. Yeah. Right.
And the right mind is very important. Like life happens to everybody. So
exactly. I'm really big on mindset too.
Yeah.
Really big on that. Yeah. So I know you talked about hoping to get into like getting a team together to, to move the gospel forward, the gospel of your music. Right. So what are the plans, what are the goals, dreams that you see yourself doing with music?
So I want to do a lot of like live performances.
Oh, I would love to see that. I bought my ticket already.
Yeah. I think like that is the next phase I'm kind of like trying to get into. I think I want to transition from just being like a recording artist to more of like a performing artist now. Even though I've had the opportunity to like, play for other people. There's a point in my life I played for Davido. And I think that was like a very good opportunity to just get that exposure. And, I think I'm looking up to doing my own performances, doing my own shows, and just entertaining people. And,
exactly. I mean, we need that.
Life is stressful.
There's too much going on. You just need that place to wind.
I think like the kind of music I do is kind of like that feel good music.
I know Chrissy is gonna come. I can't wait. Yeah, that's
I think,
good.
Recording and releasing more music.
That's good.
Like having a team also, people that really care about your growth. And, that has to come with you also like doing a lot of work yourself. And because people would get attracted if they see a little part of your dreams being coming true too. So,
exactly.
Just do the work and everything would fall in place.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what would you like to say to somebody who is kind of like looking to get into music, but they don't even know where to start or how they just know that, God give me this talent. That's I'll be single, but they don't know how. What is like the 1, 2, 3 steps?
Okay. I'm not sure about 1, 2, 3 steps, but I know like the first thing you should do is try and ask yourself, why do you really want to get into music? Is it for just the money, the fame, or what is your reason for doing it? When you recognize that, I think that answers like the other parts. How much do you want it? And I feel like the first thing you want to do is, if you have the talent, if you have talent, find a way to teach yourself, because you gotta, the major thing you have to do is invest in yourself, get the knowledge, and have humble beginnings. I think everybody is always afraid of that. Everybody wants to just start big, take it slow, take your time. It's a journey, and enjoy it, and just make sure you find the people that are going to be true to you, because you make bad music now, give it to somebody, your family member, they'll say, yes, it sounds good. No, I have people that call me out on my, on my BS, like, nah, this doesn't sound good. So you have to have you have to have true people that will tell you, like, nah, this does not sound good. This sounds good. Do it this way. And you have to be open-minded too, and take criticism as part of the journey, because most people don't want to be told, oh, this is good, this is bad. You got to entertain it. It's the only way you're gonna be able to grow. And if you want to get better at something, you have to see, like, okay, score yourself too. How good am I with this thing?
Exactly.
Then the confidence kind of comes with that too. So just, and don't be afraid to ask for knowledge. Don't be afraid to ask for questions. YouTube College is always there for you to always, like, learn new things.
YouTube College. Shout out YouTube.
And most importantly, also, I think always find avenue to grow. Because you don't want to stay. You don't want to be stagnant. You always want to evolve and do more things for yourself. So yeah, I think those are like the core things I would hold to my heart.
So yeah, that's really good.
And also know that the journey is not going to be smooth.
Exactly.
Well,
it's not.
Perspective, the journey is going to be smooth, but know that things are going to happen along the way.
Exactly.
Then,
Yeah, there's always going to be all those bumps, and it's not just a straight road. Yeah. Learn to pivot and learn, right? And also, I like to also add social media as well. We have people just becoming celebrities overnight, just by putting themselves on social media. Just record something and just put it out there. Let people know. Let people see you. That this is what I do. This is what I can do. Basically,
market yourself. Anywhere you find yourself. Just,
exactly.
You never tell. You can never tell who's watching.
Exactly. So. I mean, about 5-6 years ago, when I was still working on maybe being a TV presenter, I went to an event and I was asking, like, a lady, she works with CNN then. I can't remember her name right now. And I was like, I want to be a TV presenter. What do I do? She was like, do you have a YouTube channel? That was about years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And now that things is really big right now. So that's something to look at. So it's been a really wonderful conversation with you, Tomi. I feel like I don't feel like the conversation should end, but I usually like to just end with maybe a quote, and you just tell me how it resonates with you. Okay. And, you just tell me what you think about it. So the quote I have for you today is, music can change the world because it can change people. And it's by Bono. So how does it resonate with you?
I think when you say, like, music is life, I think it answers that already too. So I think that is, that is a very nice quote. Yeah. Did you come up with that?
No, it's by Bono. He says music can change the world because it can change people.
Change people.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, music is powerful, man. Music is spiritual. It's If it can make you feel, if music can make you feel something, then people can definitely be felt too. Yeah. Whatever can be felt.
Exactly.
So
you listen to music, you cry. You listen, you laugh. You listen, you.
Music is that's why, I feel like everybody that has a special part to play music, just do it your own way. I think that's the major part, doing your own way.
That's true. That's good. So thank you so much, Tomi, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed talking to you, and it was so beautiful. Thank you for being kind and for being so willing to share and being open with
you.
all of us.
Thank you
So,
for having
and hopefully I get to see you again.
Soon.
Definitely soon.
Soon.
And the live shows.
Yes, we're working on
I already
it.
bought my ticket
Sure.
already.
Front
Don't cancel
seat.
on me.
Front seat.
Absolutely. Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching the show today. If you really enjoyed something, let us know in the comment section. And don't forget to follow the show Unshelved Dreams. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.